Have you ever really taken the time to slow down and get to know your clitoris? Have you ever taken the time to slow down and get to know your woman's clitoris? Our clitoris is often the first place that we will go to when we are seeking sex with a partner or we are desiring masturbation. It can be our go-to place, it feels like our on-off button. And we have been taught that this is our place of stimulation, so where we stimulate ourselves and where our partner can stimulate us. And I believe that our clitoris can get a little bit exhausted and a little bit unknown by this idea that our clitoris is our on-off button. When we take the time to slow down and get to know our clitoris, then we realize that we have many pathways to pleasure. We tend to have this one button that we know that we can have a quick orgasm, we can have that quick release to. And if we always go to that same spot around our clitoris, then we're only knowing that one flavor, that one taste of pleasure. And it's almost like that one pathway is the one that will be stimulated and overstimulated. And yet our clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings. And so there are many pathways around our clitoris to pleasure. And we will only know these if we take the time to slow down, to breathe, and to notice. I feel it's really important that a woman, when approaching herself or when approached by a partner, that the clitoris is not the first place that we go to. I believe that the whole of our being is a source of pleasure and a source of sexuality, and therefore to touch the places before we come to our own clitoris or to our woman's clitoris just gives our clitoris that moment of gradually being met. So there's not this pressure and this trying and this idea that that is all our clitoris is for. Yes, our clitoris is the pleasure organ on a woman's body, but those 8,000 nerve endings are as unique as your thumbprint. And so when we get to slow down, when we get to know our clitoris, we get to know all those unique pathways for pleasure in our body, but we also get to know the unique pathways of pleasure for our life. When we're with our clitoris in a very sacred and conscious way, a present, aware way, we get to open up our pathway of pleasure in life. And when we open up the pathways of pleasure in our life, it means our life becomes rich and fulfilling and satisfying because we are noticing as a woman what we need to thrive in the world as a unique woman. And that's going to be very different for each woman, just as each nerve endings of the clitoris is different for every woman. When we slow down, we really get to know ourselves. When we slow down with our partner, we really get to intimately know our partner. On a different level of our clitoris being a source of physical pleasure, and I've also explained the pleasure in our life, it is also, I believe, where we are, if we're able just to hold our clitoris and to breathe, we can open up many different doorways of who we are as a woman. Because that is often the first place we are approached sexually, or our breasts are, but usually it is our clitoris, as if we have been taught that you wiggle it this way and wiggle it that way and you're going to get these results. I believe that when we slow down and spend time with our clitoris and we open up a new source of wisdom, every part of our body has an intelligence. And so why wouldn't our clitoris have an intelligence, a source of information to give us? And when we can remove the patterning and the habitual being with our clitoris, we will notice that a new intelligence, a new knowledge will arrive. And often that has an innocence to it, because the clitoris is often the first place we're touched, and so it's often where the first place where that kind of innocent maiden loses herself. So just to spend time slowing down and not attending our clitoris as if it is our go-to button to get to something, just being very present and aware and not this rush to. And even just not being with our clitoris for masturbation, but just for breath and stroking and caress and tenderness and a curiosity and an exploration. We complain, women complain that men only touch our clitoris or only touch our breasts when they desire or when they're seeking sex with us. But we do that as well. We will only touch our clitoris when we are desiring masturbation. So if we can be with our clitoris in new ways, we'll start to open up new ways of our sexuality, new ways of being a woman, and new ways of how our pleasure expresses itself in our lives and the world around us.